jy my cap of kan ek
Nee,
die
oom kan hom aanhou, moenie worry nie. Hy's reg so.
out of your face. How long do you think we'll be busy?
Oh, we are live on YouTube. Is already live. Hi to our YouTube viewers. We're just waiting for Facebook to come on as well. Remember, you can send in questions, chat to us. Let's see what we can answer. Okay, we are live on Facebook as well. So I'll keep this with me. Welcome to all our viewers. We've got an interesting evening session here. We are at the Nyl Biodiversity Offset area. It is the international tournament between Israel and the South African Proteas, and we are at the end of day 2, and we bring you this live every day. We're trying to be as many places as possible and bring you some entertainment, and we would like to thank all our media sponsors for that, and specifically this day belongs to TrueFeed, and also appropriate for us to end off the day at a true feeder, Dean Pelser. Of course, Dean, True Feed, close to your heart. Thank you for True Feed to being part of the media sponsors and making today possible. Before we chat a little bit about this, how was your day on the peg? You kicked off yesterday with good weights, good averages, and then it sort of slowed down. How was it today?
So Werner, to be honest, we haven't analysed the numbers yet. It's actually the first time we've got to sit down and just take a bit of a break. Today, disappointing, a lot of young fish around. And when we drew the swim in particular, I said to Lafis, my concern is I know the swim, and I was concerned about young fish. So I probably must have got about 20 non-weighers today. And in a tournament like this, you can't afford that.
Is it just non-weighers or is it proper non-weighers? Is it like 1 kilo jobbies?
Proper non-weighers. No, proper non-weighers. And so we just kept working through it to try to figure out how to get a way to get weigh fish. And we did switch on a bit. I think you know that.
I've seen that you came on.
Yeah, so we climbed quite nicely this morning. I think we started the early hours of this morning just on about 200 kilos. I think it was 205. And at our last weigh now we're over 450.
Okay, so the last weigh that we had officially was 309. So this afternoon's weigh you up to 450. Yeah. So you added about 140.
Yeah, and we got, I think at the moment I've got another 9 or 10 sacks hanging. So
at your average of about 3.4.
I think our average has come down a little bit. So
I've seen it coming down.
Yeah. So yesterday I think we were running about 3.3, which is not good enough. I mean, this venue you need to average 4.2, 4.3, 4.4.
But there's nobody on the venue averaging that. The best average there on swim 16 is 3.8.
Yeah.
3.83.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I don't know what has switched the younger fish on, but a couple of weeks back, before the cold front and this late rain and everything we've had, we were averaging 4.7, easy, comfortable, big bags. But it's definitely, we saw with the Pro Mania just before this, as the cold front hit, we saw their bags drop. We saw some of the feeder fishermen that were fishing as well. Nice bags, but not the not the real Nyl Biodiversity Offset bags. But yeah, we're thankful. We're not complaining. We're thankful. We're tired. We had to work hard today to get some fish. This is generally a bit of a lull period. I don't know, the Nyl's always been like that. As the sun goes down and the heavy, as I say that, there goes the, the right hand rod. But it's traditionally, it goes into a bit of a lull until about 10 at night.
Okay, then it kicks on again.
Yeah, then they kick on again.
So just before we move on to this, sleep and working hard through the first couple of days to get it going, not doing what you wanted to do. So what's up in terms of sleep tonight and tomorrow night?
So we were actually quite fortunate. We took quite a bit of sleep last night. We saw it wasn't moving. It wasn't what we expected it to be. And when it's like that, then it's pointless. You're both awake. So Lappies took 4 hours last night. I took 4 hours last night. And I think that's, pretty average. Sometimes people might take 5 or 6 on the first night, but we took 4 each. Tonight, Lappies will be going down again for about another 3 hours. And then depending when he gets back, if the fish are on or not on, then I'll, see, maybe I'll go down for another 3 as well.
Okay. Tomorrow night will be the kicker night. And
normally on your last night you don't sleep, and if you do, you maybe take a power nap of an hour, just to make sure that you can't afford to make the mistakes. And that's what happens when the fatigue creeps in right in the end, is you start making those silly little mistakes, and you can't afford to make it at that late stage in the game.
Yeah, because it can be quite fatal. You either lose a fish on the wrong time, or you do something silly.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Okay, so just another invitation. If you have any questions, pop them onto. I'm watching the Facebook side, so if you have any questions, just pop them in there. We'll answer them as we go along. So I'll just watch it. Then True Feed. Now True Feed kicked off as not really bait, but as in another industry. Tell us a little bit about True Feed, how it came about, and what's the history.
Okay, sure. So you've walked the journey with us, and I think a lot of the viewers have probably seen a bit of the YouTube material we put out. But in essence, True Feed is a company that produces fish food. We produce trout food, tilapia food, catfish food, koi food, carp food, which we've been doing for the Nyl and a couple of other venues. We've started to play with a little bit of zig rig. You probably saw some of that today, which has been quite interesting. And we can do Bengasius, but we didn't make it for the social angler. We're actually doing it for large aquaculture operations, large fish farming.
Feed, not fish bait.
Correct. So, and there's a lot more research in the background that's gone into it, into the formulation of the food. It's not just, let's make some supercast feed or some bowline feed where one's extruding maize, popping maize, and maybe adding a little bit of protein to it. This is a lot more intricate than that. So any of our feed sources, we've got plant-based feed sources, and we've got animal-based feed sources in terms of where the proteins come from. We like to run a very high protein food. We've had the discussion before with the social anglers. When we realized what we were doing for growing fish, growing them fast, healthy, colors, all the rest that the fish farmers require, we then started to dabble. Christopher and I started to dabble a little bit in the fishing side of it.
And so, okay, this fish food might be bait as well.
And it's just amazing how, it's changed fishing in South Africa already. Doesn't matter whether it's, carp fishing, bank fishing, feeder fishing, method feeder fishing, the guys are all making use of our products. We've got a whole host of products. I've just got a few here that I happen to have on the swim that we're using as part of our Protea game plan at the venue. But we do from 2mm pellets up to 8mm pellets, so it's a wide variety of what happens.
Okay, so let's just apply it to what you are doing here at the Nyl in terms of targeting carp. So you came with some products very specifically to this venue, and you are applying them. What have you got here, and why are you applying them? When are you applying? What is the...
Okay.
How does it come together with the game plan?
So it's actually quite interesting. Recently the cats have we're in May, and the cats have been fully active. So we actually had to spread the variety of what we brought with, because we weren't too sure what was going to happen with the catfish. But typically that's our carp pellets. I think lots of people are familiar with it. They can pick it up off the shelves. You can use it in bank angling, you can use it in feeder fishing, you can use it in carp fishing. You can either spom it into the water, you can put in your PVA, or you can mix it into your instant millibomb. So it's a high protein pellet. This one has got fish meal, feather meal, blood meal in it, and a lot of people are concerned about catfish, and I always tell people, big carp eat the same food as catfish, right? Anyway, but when the catfish are too active, one's got to be a little bit careful of that.
On the bank angling side, with this specific, how would you apply that to bank angling? So I'm coming here for the weekend warrior. How do I use it?
So there's two methods that the people are using, right? Initially, we were telling the people, just take whatever your fancied instant millibomb is. I'm not going to talk about brands, there's a number of brands.
Any popcorn.
We said, take your popcorn feed, make your popcorn feed. Once it's made, take pellets, add it into the popcorn feed until you've literally got so many pellets that you're just binding it. And so initially people were fishing it like that, and then the guys got smart very quickly. And what they do is they take the pellet and they dissolve it in hot water. So they apply hot water to it, it breaks the starches down, so the actual pellet itself goes back to a paste. They then allow it to dry like you would do with a popcorn feed, and they actually use that as the millibomb. So they're not even putting in popcorn feed anymore. And it's been very, very effective. It's a high protein based food source. The fish.
Okay, and you can mold it like that, but then you need a spring or something to hold it.
Yeah, so some of the guys use it with a spring, some of the guys with a method feeder, they use the little mold and they push it on. There is different sizes, but here at the Nyl, in most of the areas that we sell, it's a 6mm pellet that we've been distributing. Okay. Then we started advertising and talking to the guys about the vacuum oil coated pellets. So that's a 8mm vacuum oil coated pellet, and that's a 6mm vacuum oil coated pellet. So what does that mean? It's the same high protein pellet, but we then subject it to a negative air pressure in a vacuum chamber, and we atomize oil into that chamber. Because it's a negative pressure, the atomized oil gets sucked right into the pellet.
And it's not Castrol GTX.
No, it's not Castrol GTX. So again, it increases the fat content of the pellet, and the fish, when they start to feed on it, they realize what they're getting per bite is much more healthy and nutritional for them, and then they start looking for it.
So this is infused with a lot of high protein or high nutritional value fats into the pellet.
Correct.
So this will not dissolve as easy as that one because it's sort of coated. The water doesn't go in.
Yeah, that is true. But if you subject this to hot water like that, it will also break down. But that would have a longer breakdown period in your normal dam, as one would fish. Anything from about 16 to 22 degrees, that would be fine. But as I say, these are all animal based. So for the application that we did here, we brought some zig rig pellets. Now what do you mean zig rig pellets, right? Well, zigs float.
Yeah.
So if you want to catch fish on the surface or just below the surface, it doesn't help the pellets lying on the bottom. So then we play with the combination that when you spom it in, you've got some pellets that are falling through the water column, and you've got some pellets that are floating on the surface. And these are the ones that we keep floating on the surface.
Almost like koi food.
Exactly. Exactly. And again, high nutritional value, vitamins, amino acids, all your minerals in it, proteins in it, fats in it, fibers in it. Very, very high. Then we've spoken to the viewers before about the maize pellets. So I actually don't have any maize pellets here. We've used all of our maize pellets already on the swim. But what the maize pellet is, the people were talking about, they're scared of the animal proteins because of the cats. So we said, okay, well that's fine. And we went then for the plant-based proteins. So we still get a very high protein pellet. So we call it a maize pellet, but it's, people think, oh, well, they think, well, it's minis, it's maize. Actually, it's not. It's a very small percentage of it is actually maize. There's other fibers and starches that we put in there. And then, of course, the proteins that we use don't come from animal-based, but come from plant-based. So it comes out as a nice little yellow maize pellet. I'm sure a lot of the viewers have either seen it or used it. And then I advised the viewers some time back already that the maize pellet you can flavour into whatever flavour you want. You know me and my Sinner One. I'm crazy about my Sinner One. And in this case, this is a Legend. It's actually Twin Series Legend that we were using on that one in particular. And all you do is you mix your liquid that you want to use in with the pellet, and then you seal it. And the trick is you must seal it, because then the pellet absorbs all moisture as well as all the smell. When you put the pellet in the water, and if you actually put it in a bowl of water and you have a look at it, you see it starts to leak off the colorant and obviously the flavor that goes with that.
Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about this venue, this specific venue. So now you've got a whole number, and you've spoken about you played around with the right combination. So let's just forget the zig rig for now. What is a nice combination? If I come carp fishing here on a weekend and I want to spawn in a nice mix,
Yeah.
how will I?
So traditionally, I would come here nearly any time of the year, and I'd use the Nyl pellet, the Nyl carp pellet. Why? Because this is what the fish get fed on daily. All right. So I would definitely use that, and I would put some Vox in. We call them Vox, vacuum oil coated pellets. So that's traditionally what I would use if I came.
At what ratio?
I would probably go 30% vacuum oil coated and the other, 70% the normal pellet. So when you're doing conventional fishing, perfect. Okay, why? Because cats count and carp count. And remember what I said, what big carp eat, so too will the cats eat. What we're busy doing here is you can't afford to catch the cats. And normally by this time of the year, you shouldn't be catching barbel at all. And we did catch quite a few in the beginning, so we've moved and adapted our plan away from it. In other words, we moved more away from the vacuum oil coated and we started going more with the flavoured maize pellets, still going in with the normal Nyl pellet. And I'm going to actually just stand up as quickly and just grab some up here. So, I mean, here's the bags that we're busy using whilst we're fishing. And I think in this light it's very difficult to see. But we've got the Twin Series N-Cell pellet, so it's a maize pellet that we've done with N-Cell. We've got the normal maize pellet, then we've got some of the normal True Feed, those lighter ones, and if you look very carefully you can see some dark ones in between, and that's the Vox. Okay, so I mean that's the mix that we've been using. Why do we do it like that? If you actually watch this little bag dissolve, you've got a handful of pellets that is lying there. Now traditionally the carp anglers would be using the typical popcorn mix, which once it dissolves, if a fish just does that, it's like dissipates and it's gone in the water, where every one of these is a mouthful. And it won't dissolve until it's eaten. It just lies on the bottom, doesn't break down, in other words it doesn't turn into a powder or anything. It will swell up after about 10 or 12 hours. It will swell up and it'll be a bit spongy, but it's a mouthful. It's got to be eaten. And then one of the more recent ones we've been playing with, and you probably can't see that there, and to the average carp angler, that's probably looking like a popcorn bag. And it's actually not. It's little maize pellets. They are 2 and 3 millimeter maize pellets. Again, so the trick with that is, once the bag pops open, if a fish comes past and a tail, creates a disturbance, it won't drift away, the pellets will remain lying there, and then the fish can come and eat it. And that's what we've been using.
Okay, interesting.
All right.
There's a question that came up. Somebody asked, did the Israeli team also have access to these products?
Yes, they did. So they actually did buy. I don't know how much homework they did before the time. I've got YouTube videos out on the Nyl, on all of this, how we use it, how we mix it, how we apply it, including the Sinner one. So, I'm not quite sure what they did in terms of their preparation, but I do know that they bought and they had it available to them.
Yeah, we've seen them on their packs as well.
Yeah.
So, no, they're definitely using it. Okay, thank you very much. So, just in terms of the normal viewer, apart from at the kiosk at the Nyl, where are all these available?
That's a good question, Werner. So the maize pellets are currently distributed by Twin Series. So whichever stores that they're selling them off, we sell it in bulk to them. And then similarly, the dark pellets or the carp pellets are distributed by Conflicts. So again, wherever the stores are that they're reaching out to. One of the products that we make that I haven't got here is the enhancer. And all the enhancer was up front in the beginning, we were trying to help the bank anglers to convert and understand good quality food for their feed. And we were taking the normal carp pellet, extruding it, drying it, ready to package and go, and then we were actually pulverizing. So we'd go through all that effort to cook it properly, and then we'd turn it into a powder that they could just sprinkle the powder into their normal popcorn feed, and they could make their own feed like that.
Okay, and those are the smaller packages.
That's a smaller package.
Which is exactly the same. Now, one of the important things that I've learned about those pellets is how important it is to actually put boiled water on top of them so that the release of the oils can be done. That's quite important.
Correct.
It makes a difference. Even if you use enhancer, I also use boiling water.
Yeah. And it's very simple. I mean, it's so simple for the people to do.
Okay, well, that is it for tonight. Thank you, Dean. Thank you for sharing. And so from our side, we are signing out. Thank you to True Feed that made today possible. And we will see you back early in the morning, and the last results will go up just now, so you can go and look exactly who is where. The last question for you, Dean. In the beginning, we were talking about record weights and so on. After you've seen the first 2 days in terms of what has happened and how the venue that you know so well is growing, and with all the pains, what do you think the winning bag will be?
Dana, to be honest with you, I think 3 weeks ago I would have told you the world record was in jeopardy. Having seen what's transpired now with the cold front and everything that's come through here, I think we'll do well to get to a ton. I think we will do well to get to a ton. And you know, there's only 4 duos in the world that have hit a ton in an international event. So we definitely, Lapis and I are definitely going to try and get to it, and I'm sure a number of the other Protea pigs are going to try and get to that. But I think the world record's pretty safe for now.
For now.
For now, yeah.
Well, anything can happen, but you're almost like halfway there now.
Yeah,
So,
well, we're almost halfway to a ton. So, you know, you've got to do much better than that if you want to get to the world record.
yeah, no, that's a few Ks up.
Yeah. And, you know, the average size of the fish, if you go and you analyse, we've probably got the most fish caught on the venue and weight on the venue. And I was saying to Lapis, you know, when it's 1 kilogram difference on average weight, you know, like a 3 kilogram average to a 4 kilogram average. Yeah. We've had tournaments here where we run 6 kilograms as an average. But, you know, you catch 200 fish at a kilo difference. That's 200 kilos at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And those are big numbers.
And the range for this specific tournament now is between 2.7 and 3.83. That's the range of the average weights. You will see, and to everybody as well, just have a look on our Facebook page. You will see the graph as it goes up with every peg over every weigh, and then you'll also see the small table on top of it that analyzes every peg with the number of fish, the weight, and the average weight, and you can actually see how that average weight changes over the different weighing periods. So you can go and analyze that and see what happens. We've started with one of the pigs of over 4 kilos. They are still, that's the swim 16. They are still the highest. They're at 3.83, but they've come down from a 4.2 average.
Yeah, and it's strange because normally you build up. At this venue, normally you build up. So I think also what's happened, we had floods here, you know, we were out of commission for nearly 12 weeks with the floods that came through. A lot of new water moved in. Fish have spawned again, and I think that's why we've seen so many young fish. I think really the flood's been good to flush the system, but it's also given us a bit of a boom in terms of the biomass. So the average size of the fish that you're catching has come down. It's not that the big fish aren't here, there's lots of them. I just think they're not getting time to get to the bait.
The smaller ones are too
quick.
The sumos, I haven't seen many sumos coming out.
I understand there was one weighed just over 5.
I haven't seen it, but generally speaking, when we move around a lot and we see a lot of fish being caught, we haven't been able to see one sumo. We saw a couple of normal mirrors, but we haven't seen a sumo yet.
Okay. No,
We've seen a couple of ghosties.
I caught a nice big ghostie. It's still weighing or waiting to be weighed. And it's just something about ghosties. I don't know what it is. They just fight so much harder.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
They do. They fight very hard.
But my friend, I thought I had a nice 10 or 12 kilogram fish on there today, and finally when I put it in the net and I saw it was just a really nice ghostie. But they're beautiful fish. So.
Well, Dean, thank you for chatting to us. There it is. There you have it all. We are signing out for now, and we'll see you back in the morning bright and early. Get all your questions ready. Watch out or look out for the results coming up just now. See you in the morning.
Thanks, Rainer.